Well. Welcome to another video. And this is something that many people can relate to, and they don't have to be behind bars, the physical bars. They can be behind the digital bars. And what I'm referring to that brought this topic up here for me to talk about is I used to make podcasts on Anchor, and a few months ago Spotify brought them out for $300 some million, I do believe. And they said that all the podcasts will be transferred from that platform over to theirs, and you will continue to be able to upload your podcast with their great features. I said, okay, great. I'll give them time to transfer it all over, and when they get it over there, I'll start making some podcasts again. So I waited. Here it is. Let's see. It was July the 18th, yesterday. I decided to check and see if it's been transferred. I tried to go to the website, let's see, what was that? Anchor.fm. It automatically diverted me to Spotify login. And it asked me what platform did I come from. I chose Anchor. Then it says use your credentials that you used to log into Anchor. Well, it's been a little while, 3 or 4 months. Couldn't quite remember exactly what it was. And my browser hadn't saved it because I haven't logged into the new site of Spotify that took it over. So my browser has not saved it yet. So I went into my settings in the browser and looked up the Anchor.fm and saw what the username and password is for my podcast. And it said use the same one. So had that on one screen, had Spotify open the other, I copied and pasted. Would not let me log in. So I said maybe I changed it and I never saved it. But I looked at the time that it was saved and I'm like, well, that's when I last logged in. I told it to save it. Usually that's what I do when I log in. I tell it to remember me and always click on save. So I didn't understand why it wouldn't let me log in. Haven't ever been on their platform because this is my first time logging in on their platform since they took over. So after about 15 minutes of different passwords that possibly I changed and didn't save it, which I didn't think, that was a thing because usually I'm pretty prompt of saving my passwords whenever I change them. So I reached out to them. They done some checking, and about 30 minutes, 45 minutes later, they come back and said, the reason why you cannot log in because you violated the terms of service on our platform. Okay, now explain to me, how can I break your terms of service on your platform when I've never logged in on your platform? Explain that. They said, well, that's what it shows. I said, okay, that's fine and dandy what it shows, but give me the terms of service that I violated without actually logging in so I can violate the terms of service. Looking at your website is not violating your terms of service. I have to log in to violate any terms of service before I use your service. If I'm not using your service, I can do whatever the heck I want, and I'm not validating anything because I'm not logged into your site. So they said, well, we see that you haven't logged in, but it says you violated terms of service. And they start to see the picture that it didn't make sense. So they proceeded to escalate a ticket, I guess you want to call it, up to the department to figure out what's going on. Now, of course, something that I did on Anchor, maybe some music I used on there that was fine to use on Anchor, but it violated the terms of service on Spotify. I don't know. And when they transferred it all over, their automated system detected it and put a red flag on it. I don't know what it can be. But I know I didn't violate any terms of service because I never logged in to their service to violate anything of it. So that is the digital bars that I'm referring to. Censorship is the same thing. You're supposed to have your freedom of speech, freedom of religion, but mainly freedom of speech. But these platforms can cut your throat at any time, and really not much you can do about it. They will falsely accuse you of putting out false information, misinformation, whatever category name tag they want to put on it. And really nothing you can do about it. They're in control. That don't make it right. That's just the way it is. When it comes to the digital bars, you really don't have much of any kind of control over it, except, fuss about it, complain about it, make content about it on other platforms, let other people know what happened, send emails, phone numbers, calling them if they even have one, try to find somebody to talk to on their platform or some help link or whatever. Try to talk to somebody that actually speaks English without a foreign accent. Good luck with that. But the digital bars, they can falsely accuse you and lock you up forever, and not a freaking thing you can do about it. So I have learned a long time ago, when people falsely accuse you, rather it's the physical bars they put you behind or the digital bars they put you behind, do everything you can to break out. Now, the physical bars, the only way to really break out is physically getting from behind the bars. Now, the digital bars, you may still be behind the digital bars on a certain platform, but there's other platforms that you can actually get on to talk about the one that has you in prison falsely and let everybody know about it. That's one advantage of the digital bars. You have an outlet. Now, the physical bars, like I was behind for 500 some days, I had to fight and stay behind the bars. I won. The truth came out, or the truth was already out. They just finally decided to listen to the reality, to the facts, and stop holding their head high like, they're going to get you don't matter what you say or do. But they come to realize 500 some days later that, well, we got somebody here that knows that they're innocent, and we pretty much know that he's innocent too, and he's not giving up. So we might as well just wash our hands and say we're sorry and see if we can get another victim that we can convict, regardless if they're guilty or not. I seen a lot of that happen while I was there. It's really saddens me of how the DA and all, some of them, at least that one particular one that I had to deal with, will go as far as falsely accusing someone, twisting the truth, not listening to reason and the facts, just so they can put another notch in their belt. Like, look at me. I got victory for this person that was I got justice for this victim. Just so they can say that. Even though it wasn't true. And I knew it wasn't true. And I wasn't going to stand there and take it. I was going to fight. If it took me 1,000 days, if it took me 5 years, I would kept on kicking and kept on fighting. So many times I see on the news that a guy or a lady has been released from prison that's been there for 1, 2, or some of them 3 decades, that they come to find out that it was somebody else. Now, of course, they're going to get a good lump of money to put in their bank. But that will never, ever, in any shape or form or matter, give them the years that was taken away from them. I've seen some just, they were down on their knees praying thank you to God that they got out, but at the same time in tears because their parents passed away or their brothers or sisters passed away while they were in there, and they couldn't even go to the funeral. No amount of money can replace that time. I don't care how much money you got to give them. Millions and billions, it don't matter. You cannot give that time back. Even the little bit of time that I was there, missed like 2 Thanksgivings, 2 Christmases, all the birthdays. There's no amount of money that would replace that. We still sit down and talk about that time that I was there. Things that went on that I missed. Even till today, things we still talk about without repeating any of it. And just sit there and sometimes come to tears because of the BS of the legal system, sitting on their high horses, trying their best to convict somebody so they can close the damn case. And I feel sorry for the ones that get caught up in that BS and can't get out and have to serve the time for something they didn't do. Or they plead to something less and they have a criminal record, spend time for something they didn't do, and then catch hell trying to find a job or whatever when they finally do get out after they've been in there for something they didn't do. It's a really sad situation. So if you get yourself behind the physical bars, my prayers are with you. Don't give up. If you didn't do it, don't say you did it. Don't plead to something less. Because people out there, the way they judge people, if you plead to something less, they say, well, he pleads something less than what he actually did just to get out sooner. So you're guilty of, they'll look at it as if you were guilty of what you were physically, originally charged with. Hell, even me not confessing to something less, not confessing to anything, just kept on fighting and got out. Even with all that, there's people out there that still to this day think I did what I was falsely accused of. I pray for them every day that they will come to realize that they're not the one that has to judge anybody. Because you can't judge people without judging yourself, because nobody's perfect. There's only one that's going to judge everybody. And I don't have no issues with that. I still stand today that I was falsely accused. And they came to realize that that's actually the truth. But you're still going to have them people out there that wants to keep falsely accusing you to make themselves feel better. Oh, I know that's the kind of guy or kind of girl he or she is or always been. Now it finally came out. Finally got caught. Well, if that makes you sleep better at night, then go ahead. No skin off my back. I'm going to sleep well every night. I just hate seeing people really, in a way, punishing themselves by accusing somebody of something they really didn't do. They got so much hate built up, they got to lash out to somebody and put all the attention on somebody else when all the while they are trying to escape their own reality and heartache and bad ways. I just pray for them, and that's all I can do. But when somebody falsely accuses you of something, rather how significant or how minute it may be, if you didn't do it, say you didn't do it, stand by it, don't matter what they say, do, or whatever happens. And tell everybody that you can get to hear your side of the story. Even if you have to call the news outlets, it don't matter. Get your word out. Make a big ruckus about it. Get people on your side. But that's what the message I want to put out in this video. Don't take blame for something that you did not do. Fight for your freedom. It's hard enough to keep your freedom even when you're not being falsely accused of something. And boy, when you're getting falsely accused of something, it's even harder. But it's never impossible of being victoriously and showing everybody that you didn't do what you're falsely accused of. It takes time. I learned that. And a lot of other things I learned while I was in there too. How screwed up The legal system is. It gives me a different perspective and different outlook on them people that I see and hear about in the news that was falsely accused, and they spent all that time behind the physical bars and then was set free because they found that it wasn't them. I have more respect and uplifting prayers for them because I, in a small, minute way, know how they feel. I mean, when you are falsely accused and held for, 10, 20, 30 years, I can't compare how they really feel compared to the very little time that I actually was in there for 13 days. But I can see where they're coming from. I can, in a way, sympathize and understand their point of view of the agony that they are actually going through. I just have to multiply mine by, tens and thousands of heartaches to even come close of what they're going through. But I can understand like a little bit of tip of the iceberg of what they're going through. And in the little bit that I can understand, as terrible as it is, I cannot even fathom of how much of a burden it has put on their life or their loved ones that had to stand there, stand by, and hopefully that they will get out soon. I don't want to be in their shoes because it was hell with the little bit of time that I was there. And that's why I dedicated myself and determined to let other people know about what I went through while I was there. And you can find that out by getting my book at any major bookstore. It's a very short book. It's like 140, 150 pages. But I tried to keep it short and sweet, but to the point that when you read one part, it wants to pretty much get you enticed to don't put the book down. What happens next? And then as soon as you figure out what happens, you want to know what happens next. And by the time you realize you're finished with the book, it's something that you really don't want to put down. I've had people tell me that they read it, they remember what they read, but they can't believe what they read. They're not sure if that's what they read because it didn't make sense. They don't believe that that can actually happen, so they have to read the book again. And they come up with the same scenario. They can't believe what happened. But thanks for watching. Give thumbs up. Share this channel with your friends. And if you can, subscribe to the channel. It'll help to get it into the algorithm and get it to be seen by more people. And if you get a chance, next time you're at a bookstore or you go on Amazon, you can order my book. And after you buy the book and read it 2, 3, maybe 4 times, give it to somebody else and let them read it. And then if you drink coffee or whatever you may drink, just sit down with your friends and discuss the book and how you can relate it to your life What kind of bars have you been behind that you've been falsely accused of? But until the next video, take care. Hit that little thumbs down there. And if you don't like this video, I tell you what, hit the thumbs down twice to really show me that you don't like it. But if you like it, hit the thumbs up. I'll see you in the next video. Take care.